Every single year, thousands of gardeners sit in their backyards in July wondering why their harvest is thin. Their plants are struggling and their neighbors somehow have tomatoes already turning red while theirs are barely setting flowers. The difference between a jaw-dropping garden and a disappointing one is almost always made in March. Not June, not May, March. What gets planted right now in these crucial weeks will define everything that comes after. Miss this window and you will spend the rest of the season chasing it. And that is exactly why this video exists. Welcome to Backyard Crops. The name is Adam Grove, and the mission here is simple: helping you grow more food in your own backyard than you ever thought possible. If this is your first time visiting, go ahead and subscribe right now and ring that notification bell. Every week, there is fresh content designed to make your garden stronger, more productive, and more rewarding. Drop a comment below telling us your growing zone. It genuinely helps to know where everyone is gardening from, and the community here loves connecting over that. Now let's talk about what March really means for a backyard grower. For most of the country, this is the final boarding call. The gate is open right now, but it closes fast. Whether the ground outside is still frozen solid or the soil is starting to soften up, there is work to be done. Indoors, under grow lights, or directly in the beds. No matter where you live, something on this list belongs in your garden this month. Here are the crops that will carry your entire season, broken down one by one. Crop number 1, potatoes. The potato is March's signature crop, and there is no better way to kick off the planting season. Potatoes need a head start because they go into the ground as sprouted tubers, not seeds, and that sprouting process takes time. What you are looking for is seed potatoes from a local garden center. These are untreated and ready to develop sprouts called eyes. If seed potatoes are unavailable, organic potatoes from the grocery store work perfectly well since they have not been sprayed with sprout-inhibiting compounds. Leave them on the counter for 2 to 3 weeks and the eyes will emerge naturally. Once those sprouts are about an inch long, it is planting time. Bury each tuber roughly 6 inches deep with the eyes pointing upward. Potatoes are heavy feeders, so blend your soil with a good organic all-purpose fertilizer and bone meal before planting. In about 3 weeks, green shoots will push through the surface. A late frost after emergence is not a disaster. Simply mound a couple of inches of soil over the emerging greens to protect them, and they will continue growing right through it. One often overlooked tip: potatoes grown in 20 to 25-gallon fabric grow bags are not just easier to harvest. The air pruning action of the fabric actually encourages the plant to produce more tubers. The loose, well-aerated soil means fewer misshapen roots too. Fertilize every 2 weeks and keep irrigation steady, and come early summer, you'll be digging up one of the most satisfying harvests a backyard garden can produce. Crop number 2, tomatoes. If you have not started your tomatoes yet, stop watching and go get your seed trays. Tomatoes require 6 to 8 weeks of indoor growth before they are strong enough to move outside, and they can't go out until all frost risk has passed. Starting on March 1st puts transplants ready around late April to early May. Starting on March 15th means transplants are ready from May 1st to the 15th. Every week of delay now is a week of harvest lost at the other end. Fill seed cells with a quality seed starting mix. Sow 1 to 2 seeds per cell, about a 1/4 inch deep. Keep them warm, ideally between 70 and 80 degrees, and germination typically happens within 7 to 10 days. From there, a quality grow light for 14 to 16 hours daily will keep seedlings stocky rather than leggy. One tip that significantly improves transplant quality: once seedlings develop their first true leaves, pot them up into a slightly larger container and bury the stem up to the lowest leaves. Tomatoes grow roots all along their buried stems, which means a deeper potting creates a far stronger, more drought-resistant root system before the plant ever hits the garden. Crop number 3, peppers and eggplant. These two often get lumped together with tomatoes, and for good reason. They share the same nightshade family, the same frost sensitivity, and the same indoor seed starting schedule. The key difference is heat temperature. Peppers, especially hot varieties, need soil temperatures around 80 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit to germinate reliably. A seedling heat mat is not a luxury for peppers. It's practically a necessity. Eggplant is similar. Both crops will sit dormant and sulk in cold trays. Get that heat mat under them and germination improves dramatically, often happening within a week. One piece of advice worth repeating: if hot peppers are taking longer than 2 weeks to germinate, do not give up on them. Some super hot varieties can take 3 weeks or more. Warmth and patience are the two tools they need.
Crop number 4. Cucumbers, summer squash, winter squash, and melons. The cucurbit family, cucumbers, summer squash, winter squash, and melons, grows with remarkable speed once it gets going. Seeds germinate in as little as 3 to 4 days, and plants are transplant ready in about 3 to 4 weeks. That means a seed started March 1st can be in the ground by April 1st, started March 15th, ready by April 15th. However, cucurbits are genuinely tropical plants. Unlike tomatoes, which can handle a chilly night after the last frost date, cucumbers and squash will sulk, stall, and struggle if nighttime temperatures are regularly dipping below 50 degrees. Waiting 1 to 2 weeks beyond the last frost date before transplanting is smart practice. Root-bound cucurbit seedlings also transplant poorly, so use biodegradable peat or cocoa coir pots that go directly into the ground without disturbing the roots. One important note for gardeners with last frost dates in mid to late May: hold off starting these indoors until April. A cucurbit seedling that has been sitting in a tray for 6 weeks waiting on the weather will be root-bound and stressed before it ever hits the soil. Crop number 5. Peas. Snap peas, snow peas, shelling peas, all of them thrive in the cool, damp conditions of early spring, and March is exactly when they want to be in the ground. As nitrogen-fixing legumes, peas pull nitrogen directly from the atmosphere and store it in their roots, meaning they require virtually no supplemental fertilizer. Few crops are genuinely low maintenance. Direct sowing is the method here. As soon as the ground has thawed and workable, push pea seeds about an inch deep and 2 to 3 inches apart. No transplanting, no special soil preparation beyond basic loosening. They will germinate in 10 to 14 days. The critical rule with peas: get them harvested before temperatures consistently hit 80 degrees. Heat is the enemy. It makes pods tough, woody, and flavorless almost overnight. If flowers have opened and a frost is coming, cover the plants with a row cover. The pods and blossoms are frost sensitive, even though the plant itself tolerates a freeze. A little-known tip for maximizing pea production: inoculating seeds with rhizobium bacteria before planting significantly boosts nitrogen fixation. The inoculant powder costs almost nothing and can increase yields noticeably, especially in garden beds that have not grown legumes recently. Crop number 6. Carrots. Carrots are cold-hardy, nutritious, and incomparably better when homegrown. A fresh carrot pulled from loose garden soil has a sweetness that store-bought versions rarely match. The key to carrot success is almost entirely about germination conditions. Carrot seeds are tiny and slow, and they need consistent surface moisture to sprout. The biggest mistake gardeners make is letting the seedbed dry out during the 10 to 14-day germination window. Drag a shallow quarter-inch trench across your prepared bed and sow generously. Carrot germination rates are notoriously uneven, so overseeding compensates for the misses. Cover lightly with fine soil or vermiculite and water daily until sprouts appear. Thinning to 2 to 3 inches apart once seedlings are an inch tall gives the roots room to develop properly. Loose, stone-free soil is critical. Rocky or compacted soil produces forked, stunted roots regardless of how well everything else is managed. Carrot sweetness is directly tied to cool soil temperatures. Roots maturing in the cooler weeks of late spring will be noticeably sweeter than those maturing in summer heat when starches fail to fully convert to sugars. Crop number 7. Beets. Beets deserve far more attention than they typically get. They are one of the most productive crops per square foot in the spring garden, providing both a root vegetable and a nutritious leafy green in a single plant. The young leaves can be harvested and used just like spinach, allowing an early harvest well before the roots are ready. Each beet seed is actually a cluster of 2 to 6 seeds fused together, which is why thinning is essential. Without it, plants crowd each other out and produce small, misshapen roots. Sow about an inch deep and 3 to 4 inches apart. then thin to the strongest seedling once they reach a few inches tall. Like carrots, beet roots develop the richest, earthiest flavor when they mature during cool weather. Warm season beets taste flat and starchy by comparison. Crop number 8. Radishes. The fastest crop in the March garden by a significant margin. Radishes can go from seed to harvest in as little as 25 to 30 days for quick varieties like Cherry Belle or French Breakfast. That speed makes them extraordinarily useful as a succession crop. Sow a short row every 10 days throughout March and April for a continuous supply before they bolt in summer heat. Beyond the quick satisfaction, radishes have a practical benefit often overlooked. Planted between slow germinating crops like carrots, they mark the rows while the slower seeds catch up, and their roots help break up compacted soil as they grow. Pull them at harvest and the carrots or beets take over the freed space.
Crop number 9. Spinach. Spinach is one of the most cold-tolerant crops available to the March gardener. Established spinach plants can survive temperatures down to 20 degrees Fahrenheit, making frost concerns essentially irrelevant in most growing zones. Direct sow seeds about half an inch deep in rows 6 to 8 inches apart. Germination takes 7 to 14 days, faster in warmer soil. The challenge with spinach is bolting. Once daytime temperatures consistently exceed 75 to 80 degrees, spinach sends up a flower stalk and the leaves turn bitter almost immediately. Choosing slow bolt varieties like Thai or Space extends the harvest window significantly. Starting in March gives a full 6 to 8 weeks of harvest before summer heat typically closes the window. Crop number 10. Kale and leafy brassicas. Kale, Swiss chard, and collard greens are workhorses of the spring garden, and all of them can be started in March, either directly outdoors or from transplants started a few weeks earlier indoors. Kale in particular is exceptionally frost-hardy. A light freeze actually improves its flavor by triggering sugar production in the leaves as a cold weather defense mechanism. For broccoli, cabbage, and cauliflower, the timing calculation matters more. These crops need consistent cool temperatures to head properly, and they will bolt to flower without producing usable heads if summer heat arrives before maturity. In warmer growing zones, March is the last month to realistically start these crops for a spring harvest. In colder zones where spring arrives slowly, there is still a comfortable window. Crop number 11. Onions and leeks. Onion sets planted in March develop slowly and steadily through spring, building size as the days lengthen. The bulb size at harvest is closely linked to the number of leaf blades the plant has produced. Each leaf corresponds to one ring inside the bulb. Getting sets in the ground early in March means more leaf growth time and ultimately larger bulbs. Short day varieties suit southern gardens where day length increases earlier in the season. Long day varieties are designed for northern latitudes where summer days are significantly longer. Planting the wrong type for the latitude produces small, poorly developed bulbs regardless of soil quality or care. Leeks are even more cold tolerant and can go out in very early March in most zones. They take longer to mature than onions, but are far more forgiving of temperature swings. Crop number 11. Herbs. Parsley, dill, and cilantro. These three cool season herbs belong in the March garden without question. All three are members of the carrot family, all three tolerate frost, and all three can be direct sown as soon as the soil is workable. Parsley is the slowest to germinate, sometimes taking 2 to 3 weeks, so soaking seeds in warm water overnight before planting gives germination a meaningful boost. Cilantro bolts quickly in heat, which makes a March planting ideal. The entire cool season window from March through May is perfect for a succession of cilantro sowings every 2 weeks, providing a continuous harvest. Dill is similarly fast-growing and can provide its first harvest of feathery fronds in as little as 6 to 8 weeks from sowing. Basil is the notable exception among herbs. It is a warm-season tropical plant that suffers in cold soil and cold nights. Start basil seeds indoors under lights in March for transplanting after all frost risk has passed. The Master List, 60 crops for March. For complete coverage, direct sow outdoors this month peas, beets, carrots, radishes, turnips, parsnips, spinach, arugula, kale, Swiss chard, dill, cilantro, parsley, onion sets, garlic, if not already in, shallots, broad beans, rutabaga, daikon, tatsoi, and mache. Adjust this list to your zone.
Gardeners in colder climates with frost dates well into May should wait on cucurbits and hold off on direct sowing until the soil consistently reaches the right temperature. Gardeners in warmer southern zones should act quickly on brassicas. The heat window closes fast. One strategy that separates productive March gardens from average ones is succession planting. Instead of sowing an entire packet of lettuce or spinach or radishes all at once, hold back half and plant that second half 2 weeks later. Then plant a third round 2 weeks after that. The result is a continuous rolling harvest across 2 to 3 months, rather than a single overwhelming glut followed by an empty bed. The garden stays productive, the table stays supplied, and nothing goes to waste. March is not a warm-up month. It is the main event. Every week of delay now costs real food at the end of the season. The crops covered in this video can fill a backyard garden with more food than most people expect to grow. Potatoes, tomatoes, peas, beets, carrots, spinach, onions, herbs, and more, all set in motion right now in March when the timing window is wide open. If this content is useful, hit the like button. It genuinely helps this channel reach more backyard growers who need this information. Share this video with anyone who is just getting started with growing their own food. Subscribe to Backyard Crops if you want a full growing season of content just like this. And leave a comment with your growing zone and what is going into your garden this March. This is Adam Grove with Backyard Crops. Get those seeds in the ground.